Zach here from the Trading Network. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday, January 14th to be precise, and today I have another daily market profile recap for you. So let us dive into the trade plan here real quick, and we'll go over our key levels. So our key levels, first and foremost, we have 38.23.25. Going over to the profile here, you see that that is our previous all-time high. That is the regular trading hours high from the January 8th, 2021 session. Let me go ahead and pull up the trade plan here. All right, so next level we have is the overnight high from the most recent session, which is 38.17.75 right there. Third level is 38.08.75, which is the prior value area high. Fourth level, 37.97.75, is the prior initial balance high, which is this green level right here. And last but not least, as far as our key levels go, we have 37.82.75, which was the low from yesterday's regular trading hours session. Now, as far as news events or any headline risk, we did have good old J-Pow speaking today, 12:30 Eastern. So as I'm sure most of you guys saw who were watching the market, we had a really tight range for most of the morning until Powell started speaking. So aside from that, we did have some headline risk with the impeachment news going on. So that was something as well to keep an eye out for that could impact the market pretty drastically and quickly as well. So let's move into the summary. So overnight inventory was net long. Now if I pull up my drawings from today, you can see I've got quite a few here. But here's overnight inventory in this red box. And you can see I have marked here that overnight inventory is net long. Here's settlement price. So when overnight inventory is 100% above settlement price, you can say that overnight inventory is 100% net long, because not only did a majority of the overnight price action get done above settlement, but in this case, all of the overnight price action got done above settlement. So when that happens, there is a likelihood or a higher likelihood that we get downside pressure on open as well. So keep that in mind. So with that in mind, we were looking to open within range and above value, which means that we were opening within yesterday's range, but above the value area, which is from 37.95 to 38.08. That was yesterday's value area. Now, if I zoom in here, let's go see where O period is, and you can see that the open was at 38.10.50, which was just outside by a couple points of yesterday's value area. So when we open within range and out of value, this means that we're likely to produce a range similar to the previous day, but overlapping to one side. This also means that one of the previous session's levels is likely to hold as today's higher day or low of day. You guys might be familiar with this if you've been watching my recent videos, because we've been getting this profile open type quite a bit. Because of this, we can calculate the day's range based on previous session's extreme once again. So today I was looking at yesterday's range high of 38.13 right here to be a possible line in the sand level and or today's extreme. Now, my thoughts moving forward was that if price could move and hold above yesterday's high and use this level as support, this 13.50 level, then we were very likely to work back towards these previous levels, 20, 23, and ultimately higher. So you can see that I have even a range estimation here based on a previous profile that I was using today, just to have some upside targets in addition to my fib pivots and my VWAP bands. So if we could use that level of support, I was going to be looking to take longs above, and ultimately we did not get much price action or business done above that level whatsoever. So on the other side, if we could not move and hold above yesterday's high, I would look for another value area rotation between yesterday's value area high at 38.08 and yesterday's value area low at 37.95. I will consider taking a measurement from yesterday's high, the overnight high, or the overnight point of control to determine today's range extension. So let me show you what I mean by the range extension. So for those of you guys who are new, for those of you guys who have not caught my most recent videos, what I mean by that is because we opened within range and slightly outside of value, we can take yesterday's profile size, 30.75, right? I'll take a measurement here from the bottom to the top, and I'm using the ruler tool built into NinjaTrader for those of you guys who are curious how I did that. And I'm going to take this measurement and I'm going to bring it to these levels that I was referring to. So you can see yesterday's POC. If we take this measurement from yesterday's point of control, we get a measured move, if you will, down to 37.74. If you see, we take this measurement, do this. We take it here and we put it from today's high. Obviously, we're going to have a very, very similar session, identical session in this instance, to yesterday. So I thought that this was going to be a good line in the sand because generally speaking, if we can move and hold above previous highs from recent sessions, that's extremely bullish. However, if we could not, that was going to be a good level for the high of day or around that area. So you see that, again, if we take the measurement and we measure yesterday's session, we would have had today's measured move down to 37.82, the same exact size. If we would have taken this measurement and put it at overnight POC, it would have given us a measured move to 37.80. So you can see all of these are very high probability levels. And just one more example here. So this is a measurement from yesterday's value area high. And that actually gave us a measured move right down to where the current overnight low is. So all of these will give you good estimations, especially if you can watch price action, give it a little bit of time, see price react to one of these previous levels and say, okay, because we got a poor high or a single print selling tail or something like that at one of these levels, that gives me a higher probability almost instantly to say, okay, this could be high of day. So I can take a measurement from this level or any of these levels, wherever price decides to reject, and take that measurement based on the fact that we opened within range and slightly outside of value. And that will give us a high probability of determining where today's low is going to be or possible targets. So I just wanted to explain that to you guys because that's a very important piece of information that you guys can use, and you can keep an eye on the profile types and use this to your advantage. It's really helpful to know instantly, okay, we're opening within range, slightly outside of value. So now I'm looking for a rejection at one of these previous profile levels, and with that I can determine, okay, this is going to be a good chance of resistance. So let's dig back into the trade plan here. We'll get this enlarged. So just to reiterate here, on the downside, I was looking for another value area rotation between yesterday's value area high at 0875 and value area low at 37.95.75, and we'll consider taking a measurement from yesterday's high, the overnight high, or the overnight point of control to determine the range. So that's what we just did, and that's what we just chatted about briefly there. So again, I was looking to see if we could get acceptance above the range high, which we did not, and we did not really hit any of my upside targets. You can see first upside target was 38.17 here. We did not hit 38.17, and we proceeded to move down pretty swiftly after a rejection from yesterday's high, right under the overnight high and the overnight value area high. So you can see here that I was going to look to short if we could not hold that level, and I was going to look to short to prior value area low and prior range low. So you can see downside targets. We're going to go ahead and skip the upside targets and keep it short on that end because we didn't hit any. Happens. Downside, however, we hit all but one. So as far as downside goes, first downside target was 38.11. Now if we look, you can see that 38.11 was a very nice level, and that was actually the overnight point of control right there, this pink level. Going back to the profile here, this was the first downside target. All right, so first downside target was 38.11. My thought was, again, if we could not hold this 38.1350 level, we were going to be seeing some downside pressure back into yesterday's profile levels, which we did indeed. So first downside target was hit in the initial balance. Second downside target was 38.08. That was yesterday's value area high, which was also hit in the initial balance. Again, we opened at 38.10, and we moved down essentially very, very quickly. You can see we didn't test up here until D period. So we opened, moved up, moved down, kind of ranged, really tight range. I believe we were in a 9-point range for the initial balance, which is exceptionally tight. And, we got most of our close targets hit within that initial balance, thankfully, because it was a very tight range. So that third downside target was the 0575 level. And this unfortunately was not hit in the initial balance. We had to wait a little bit later in the day to get that level hit, but we did indeed get it once the initial balance broke. We got that downside flush, and a lot of the downside targets did get hit following the initial balance, or shortly following the initial balance. So that 0575 level got hit nicely in H period, and we proceeded to move down, and the fourth downside target we had was this 37.9850 level. And if you look here, 37.9850 was the overnight point of control from the January 12th into January 13th session. So as you guys can tell, I'm sure, I really like using those overnight point of controls as targets. Typically, I want to use point of controls as targets as opposed to entry levels, because price is mean reverting. So if we can take a trade in excess value, right, either at the highs, outside of the value area, right, in excess lower value or excess upper value, and take it back to the mean, also known as the point of control, then that is an even higher probability trade, because we know that if price is extended significantly from the mean, especially, that we are going to have a high probability of mean reversion where price comes back to the mean. Think about price like a rubber band. When price gets stretched out, it can only get so extended before it comes back and reverts. So that's why I like to use those point of controls as targets, just as a little bit of background on that. So 98.50 got hit. Let's see what period that got hit in. So 98.50 got hit in N period, and last two targets were 92.50 and 82.75. So 92.50 was this point of control from the January 12th regular trading hour session, and again, another point of control, another target hit. Last target was 82.75. That was yesterday's low, and we did not get that hit in today's regular trading hour session. You can see that we did indeed get that hit in the overnight session that just opened a little while ago. So all in all, pretty good day. 5 out of 6 downside targets hit, no upside targets hit. That's what happens when sellers are in control. So I just wanted to quickly go over to candlestick chart and show you guys. We were range bound for, again, basically the entire initial balance, and if I remove my indicators, you can see how well we play off these levels. And although we were in a really tight range, I mean, we have a lot of potential just scalping back and forth between these profile levels. You do have to be quick from time to time, but that doesn't mean that there's not opportunity in range bound price action. I love trading ranges because it's very orderly. Look at this reaction to the point of control from yesterday, to the tick. We have amazing reaction to prior range high, to the tick. Not always going to be to the tick, but you're going to get a lot of opportunity off of these profile levels. Even if you have no other indicators on your chart, you're going to get a lot of opportunity off these levels. Now, when we bring some indicators in, I'll clear this up a little bit so you guys can see what's going on for those of you who are not too familiar with the indicator package. And I look for things like divergence at or around these major levels, profile levels, in combination with Fibonacci pivots, in combination with VWAP deviations, which is what I have right here. You can see that we have bearish divergence on a couple oscillators here, not all of them, but more than one oscillator with divergence at a major profile level in combination with other levels of confluence. That's a really high probability trade. Same thing right here, bullish div right below prior value high and that first lower deviation of VWAP. Same thing here, bearish divergence, really this pretty much the same exact setup. Let's see, we got it on, call that what you want. That's definitely divergent. That's definitely divergent. So again, 2 out of 3 oscillators there, divergent. We got bull div here, right at prior value high. And this is how I play ranges. Mark up the profile levels. If you have the TTN proprietary indicator package, you can use the VWAP levels in combination with the profile levels, wait for div, and really high probability setups there. Once again, boom, we got right above prior range high. We've got bearish divergence, multiple oscillator, bearish divergence to be precise. And again, we get a really nice setup there. So I just wanted to point that out. Won't keep this going too long, but the reason that I use the profile in combination with regular candlestick charts is for good reason. It's because I can quickly look, I'm a visual learner, so I can quickly look and say, okay, we got divergence. I recognize patterns really quick. So that's what works for me, and that's why I developed this system. I use the profile levels. I know that those profile levels are very important. They hold a lot of weight. Not even discussing or thinking about the profile types and opens and things like that, which just further increases the probability. When you see profile levels and patterns like this, they line up, and it's not a coincidence. It's because these are repeatable price patterns that really are just based off repeatable human psychology. And if we can catch these patterns and take advantage of them on a daily basis or a weekly basis or over a large sample size of trades, that is how we become profitable traders over the long term. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch these videos. If you're digging this content, especially the content where I am going into the candlestick charts and showing you guys specifically what kind of setups I'm looking for, what confluence I'm looking for between the profile and the candlestick chart, indicators included, let me know. Leave a comment, and I'd be happy to keep pumping more of this content out. So with that said, if you guys are not familiar with these trade plans, or if this is your first time watching my videos, you can find these trade plans in the description below. You can join our Facebook group for free, where I release these trade plans every single day at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, New York Open. You can also get information in the description below at our website on one-on-one mentorship with me. You can purchase access to the Trading Network Proprietary Indicator Package. You can get access to our private Discord, where you can watch me and the Trading Network team trade live daily at 9:30 a.m. Eastern as well. And last but not least, you can get access to the Fundamentals of Futures Trading course, which is our comprehensive course with 2 varying strategies for different market conditions. So we teach a strategy for trending, and we teach a strategy for ranging price action. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch these videos, be a part of the Trading Network, and I will see you in the next one.